today I just wanted to jump in and share one thing with you guys, and then we'll just talk through this. I wanted to show you how we can use Google Maps to our advantage, and it's really easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually signed into my Google account, and I'm going to share my screen and show you what this looks like. Easy. Okay, so the first thing it's going to ask you for is the address. And I'm actually just going to type in my Rancho Santa Margarita. Okay, so now here we are. Okay, and you can see I already have a business here. It's a different business, but you can see it zooms in on my location. And it's got this green icon here. So what I can do is actually come in here. Okay, details. I can style my icon. Okay, so now it's blue. But what I always do is I actually create a custom icon for my business, because then when I embed this on my site, that icon shows up for my business. And so when you click this, you can add a custom icon and it'll tell you just upload it. Just make sure it's a square. It doesn't have to be that big. You can play around with it. And I actually am going to show you, you can see right there, their logo. Can you see that? Their logo is their map icon. So this embed right here has their custom logo. So when you go to their website, not only are you seeing their logo here, it's just a nice touch. It's just a nice touch to correlate the brand further with this. And it actually does something else. These icons aren't bad, but it is another opportunity to make your brand a relevant feature in Google's mind by uploading yet another image that is named as your business.
Like you, I work out of my home. But I would never meet anyone in my home. Probably you wouldn't either. So is there an expectation when people see this that it's an office location where they can go, or meet or something? Would it be better for me? I'd have to pay more. I can't use Spaces as my location because they don't allow it.
Right.
I'd have to pay more. I'd have to have an office with them to do that.
Right.
Is it worth it to do that? Or, should I?
I think it depends on two things. And I will say it with this at the beginning. This is one of the things that COVID actually made less stressful for us as business owners who work from our houses. It broke down that barrier of where office and home lie. Right. And nobody has ever showed up at my doorstep for any of the businesses listed here. And I think because COVID happened, people understand that the rest of the world has had to come up with these creative ways of having their business places, because not everybody could go to the office anymore. A lot of office locations actually closed temporarily, right? And so people who built businesses couldn't even put themselves somewhere because they couldn't actually even be there because nobody was meeting in person anyways. So it kind of did us a favor in the sense that it broke down that sort of it created an understanding, I think, that people realize that just because a business is located in a home, or in my case, in my apartment, that people, that it's either frowned upon or you put yourself sort of out there and you're exposed to the likelihood that someone would show up at your door. It just doesn't happen. It didn't happen before, but it really doesn't happen now. So right. That's the first part. But the second part is, it really depends on how much you want people to know about you. Now, I'm not a real public figure. I don't feel like, I'm out there and people are going to be searching me down. Like, I'm not a target. Nobody's really interested in this, like I'm not, for me, it actually is a good thing because it gives me more of this space on a map. So now people can kind of say, oh, okay, so Birdie SEO really is in Lake Forest. Okay, I mean in Rancho Santa Margarita. They're not in Lake Forest anymore. They moved. Okay, so that's great. Now I know where she is. She is local. I'm going to call her because she's in Orange County and she's local and I want to work with someone local. For me, it's not a negative. But again, it is a very personal decision. Like you are going to have to take a step back and decide how much you want people to know about where you are. I mean, like you can see in here, there's another business owner here, and he's labeled himself as Irvine, which is really strange. Like I would never do that because I'm not in Irvine. So this is not the wisest business move in terms of Google. We don't live in Irvine. Irvine's next to us, but we don't live there. We live in Rancho Santa Margarita. So his should really not have the word Irvine. He's trying to trick Google into making an association with a location that has a much higher population, and probably he does all of his business there, or he wants his customers from Irvine, but that's not going to serve him well because Google looks at that and he's like, okay, you're not, something's wrong. There's a disconnect here. So that's why it's important that you name your business what it is, right? So it is those two factors. Like it's how much you want people to know about you and where you are. Like if it's a privacy issue, or you know, understanding that nobody's going to show up there really anyways, because COVID was the ultimate leveler when it came to business. And it's one of the few things that actually was a benefit for us as small business owners working out of our houses, was that it did break down that stigma that you had to be in an office to run a business. It's not so anymore.